Voices out there talking to the birds. So welcome to today's class. Today we're looking at writing again. We've had a look at 3 different students so far, a Russian, a Brazilian and an Italian. And this is another Russian, but this Russian is from Moscow. And he worked a lot in aviation in the past, although I don't think he is at the moment. But you can see he's translated this. I'm not sure where from. And he's given me his translation to correct. But still, I think that I correct things where it doesn't matter if it's for CPE, CAE, or a translation like this. I'm normally doing pretty similar things each time I'm correcting them. And I'm trying to look for ways where the sentence can sound more natural, or the sentence can sound clearer or more powerful. So let's have a look at this essay. It's an interesting essay. So it's on a controversial topic, but I think you'll see that it's a very neutral and objectively written essay. So Hamas performs painful strikes on Israel. A strike on somebody, or a strike on an office, or a strike on a building, if we're talking about a powerful military strike, something like that, or like an airstrike. And I believe that these were airstrikes or missile strikes. Yeah, so strikes on Israel. Let's carry on reading. So good afternoon, Raquel, and good afternoon, Sete. Israel and the Gaza Strip have again started a violent confrontation. The fight involves almost the whole territory of the Jewish state and includes both civil clashes between the Arab population and ethnic Jews on the streets of most Israeli cities, and an armed struggle itself between paramilitary units of Hamas movement and Israel Defense Forces. So I think that's a great introduction. Not much wrong with that. I would say the Arab population and not Arabic population, the Arab population and the Jewish population, or between Arabs and Jews. And notice I'm giving you the parallel version there, but there's nothing wrong with what you've written, the Arab population and ethnic Jews. It's fine. But you could keep it a little bit more parallel with the Arab population and the Jewish population, or Arabs and Jews, because then you've got singular and singular, or plural and plural. I hope that's clear, but really, I don't correct things if they don't need correcting, but I'll just mention them. But that's a great start. So the unrest has been ignited by the decision of an Israeli court to evict several Arab families from their houses situated near the Temple Mount. Now, let's just take that part up to there. I didn't like Israel judicial instance. That didn't sound right to me. It sounded like it was the decision of an Israeli court. And this Israeli is the adjective for Israel, the country. Yeah, so Israeli is the adjective. So an Israeli court. And I say this because this is a mistake that cropped up a number of times in this essay. So do remember that the adjective for Israel is Israeli. I hope that's all clear. So hello, Victor. Hello, Anastasia. And I'm talking about an essay and some corrections that I have made on the essay. And this essay was written by a guy from Moscow. So let's keep going. And in some other Jerusalem areas, I suppose areas of Jerusalem would be better there. I missed that. In some other areas of Jerusalem areas doesn't sound so natural. In some other areas of Jerusalem, to clean these areas for a new building. Now, I tried to simplify this: for a new building, or for a new residence, or for a new apartment complex, something like that, for a new building project, I suppose. But I got rid of for the purpose of, because for, well, it means for the purpose of, really. You know, what did you, I did it for, it means for the purpose of, yeah? When you've got for plus noun, it means for that purpose. So I felt like it was unnecessary to say for the purpose of. You just say, you know, to clean these areas for a new building, and it's clear. And this one as well, for cleaning. I've noticed when a lot of the time students write for and then the gerund, yeah, for cleaning. Well, really, you use to plus verb or for plus noun, but I don't recommend for plus gerund. I recommend to plus verb if you're going to do that. So to clean, yeah, don't say for cleaning, don't say for washing, don't say for drinking, say to drink, to wash, to clean. Yeah, so to plus infinitive, because clearly you want the verb then. So to clean these areas for a new building. This decision has been interpreted, not conceived of. That means something different. To conceive something means, well, conceive a baby means create a baby, and conceive an idea, it means create an idea. It doesn't mean interpret a decision. Yeah, and so I would say this decision has been interpreted by the Arab population of Israel as the beginning of the expulsion of ethnic Arabs from Jerusalem. Okay, we'll hold it up to there for the moment because there are a few things I want to say. So interpreted, not conceived. Arab population sounds much more natural to me. Again, just like I changed it up here. Arab population, the Arab population of Israel as now not a beginning, but the beginning of. Yeah, it's always going to be, I know I often talk about this, the noun of noun, and I'm going to talk about it again today, but the beginning of, yeah? It's unlikely to be a beginning of, because then there are several beginnings, and usually there's only one beginning. And so as the noun of noun, the beginning of the expulsion of ethnic Arabs. Yeah. Now the expulsion, I mentioned this, I think yesterday or the day before. If you've got a noun form, don't use the gerund. We had consumption and consuming. And I remember that my Brazilian student used he used consuming instead of consumption. Well, this is really similar. This student from all the way over in Moscow has used expelling instead of expulsion. So there's a lesson to be learned here. If there is a noun form that already exists, please use that in preference to the gerund, because that's what we always seem to do. It never seems to be right when I see people using this gerund whenever there's a noun form available. And I think our Italian student did the same. He wrote disappearing instead of disappearance. Yeah, and so that's 3 different students from 3 very different countries, all making an identical mistake. And this is precisely why, Anastasia, we are doing this. Yeah, because I think it's useful to look at our mistakes. And if we analyze our mistakes, we'll see that our mistakes are the same the world over. And we can learn a lot from each other's mistakes. So we've got similar mistake there. So this decision has been interpreted by the Arab population of Israel as the beginning of the expulsion of ethnic Arabs from Jerusalem, which is why it has caused a wave of protests. Yeah, I thought we wanted to be clear. Yeah, this is, which is why it's caused a wave of protests. I didn't like just what caused. I mean, you might say which, but then, well, what does a which refer to? My which, I'll tell you what it refers to. It refers to the whole of the previous clause, yeah? This is what we call a sentential relative clause, and it's certainly okay in UK English, where the which is actually referring to the whole previous clause. So this which is adverbial, really. It's referring to a whole clause and not just a noun. So this whole clause is why it has caused, yeah, because the decision has been interpreted in this way. This is why it has caused a wave of protests. So the ruling power, I didn't like the ruling in the Gaza Strip. I thought the ruling power in the Gaza Strip, the Hamas movement, yeah, with commas, and then you've got a nice A positive, yeah, because this is the ruling power in the Gaza Strip. So the ruling power in the Gaza Strip, the Hamas movement, has considered this act of the Israeli judicial authorities. I actually thought this was unnecessary. I mean, what other act are we talking about? It's really clear that we mean the act we've already mentioned. Now, I know that my student translated this, and I assume that's why he's put this bit in here. But just to let everybody know, I think this reads much better without that part in. And that's why I've put it in brackets. And it's just because we've already made it clear that we're talking about the act of the Israeli court. Yeah, we made that clear in that first sentence. All the other sentences have been about this. And so I think it's already obvious that this act means the act in the Israeli court. So the ruling power in the Gaza Strip, the Hamas movement, has considered this act a substantial ground for starting a new confrontation. Moreover, for a long time before these events, yeah, let's do these next 2 mistakes, but a new confrontation sounds much better than a spree of struggle. We do talk about murder sprees and a shopping spree, and so it does collocate with murder and it does collocate with shopping. There could be a spree of attacks, I suppose, although a spate of attacks sounds even better to me. But we don't say spree of struggle. So confrontation. And this next one with during is really common. I've corrected this many, many times over my career. For is different from during. And we say for a long time. We don't say during a long time. Just like we don't say... there's another one which we do, during 3 weeks. We don't say during and then a number. During 3 weeks, we say for 3 weeks. We don't say during 5 minutes. We say for 5 minutes. And so if you're one of those people who's saying during 3 weeks, and ask yourself now if you are, you want to stop, because it's not acceptable. You can't use during and then a number, as far as I can see. During 5 minutes, no. It would have to be during the space of 5 minutes or something like that. So do be aware of the difference between for and during. Good morning or good afternoon, Elmira and David. So we've been on for 11 minutes. Let's speed up a little bit. So for a long time before these events, the tension between the Palestinian Authority and the Israeli authorities, Palestinian's an adjective, Palestine is a noun, Israeli is an adjective, Israel is a noun. So have been constantly growing, resulting in a series of small clashes. This is a nice participle phrase, and this student certainly knows how to use them really well. But this part, the series of, maybe he is thinking, maybe my student is thinking of the noun of noun. And maybe you're also thinking, hang on, Dave, you said the noun of noun. And so we've got series of clashes. Surely it should be the series of clashes. Well, there is an exception. And I would say it's any kind of vague quantifying expressions, like a lot of is a noun of noun, a load of, a few of. All of those quantifying expressions will be a. And really, a series of, isn't it a quantifying kind of expression? A row of as well, like a row of chairs. You can get many different rows, and so it will be a row of chairs, a series of, a lot of, a few of, a number of. Okay, so the noun of noun, but not when you're dealing with some kind of quantifying expression, like a lot of, a few of, a series of, a load of. I hope that's clear, because I'm trying to work on the articles with today, especially with this student, because I think that working on your articles by looking at where you're making mistakes with them in your essays is perhaps the best way to improve. So, a series of small clashes. By the 14th of May, Hamas had launched more than 2,000 missiles onto Israeli territory, and I took the out. We just say onto Israeli territory. In response, the Israeli Defense Forces, you notice I even say Israeli when I say that, but I looked it up and they do call them the Israel Defense Forces, have started to deliver airstrikes at targets. Okay, you can say an airstrike at a target, because you can say strike at a target. And so I don't mind that, to deliver airstrikes at targets, but we would say to strike a strike on Israel. We really would, a strike on the Gaza Strip. But you can say deliver airstrikes at targets in the Gaza Strip and to shell Palestinian territory. Now, this is good. Notice I took away the from Palestinian territory as well. So Israeli territory, Palestinian territory, no article. And I like what this student has done with his parallel structure. You've probably noticed that I'm obsessed with parallel structure, but I know that the essays sound good when students use it. So look at this. In response, the Israel Defense Forces have started to deliver blah, 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 and to shell blah, blah, blah. And you've got to deliver and to shell. So it sounds really nice. It's very clear. It's easy to read. According to Israeli officials, once again, Israeli officials, the targets for the strikes or the targets of the strikes, both okay. The targets for the strikes, we need the, because we know which ones, the ones that were happening on this day in Gaza or on Israel from Gaza. But the targets for the strikes were objects. These are strikes on Gaza. Sorry. The targets for the strikes were objects of Hamas military infrastructure. Now, let's look here. The students put a the in. And I think maybe he's thinking of the noun of noun again, because I talk about it a lot. But I don't say the nouns of noun. I don't want to say that, because I think when you've got a plural Now, when you've got nouns of noun, quite often it's without a the. When it's plural, quite often it's about a the, and it's because you're talking in general. And here we're certainly talking in general. We mean generally all and any objects of Hamas military infrastructure. Yeah. And so we're not referring to a specific part of the objects of Hamas military infrastructure. And that's why we don't use the. So be aware that the noun of noun is the singular noun of noun, if that makes sense. I hope it does, because I'm trying to think up new ways of teaching articles, because I do agree that there's a lot of illogical information out there about articles, and it's actually really tricky to use them well in an essay. So good morning, Greg. Good morning, Elmira, and good afternoon, I should say. Good afternoon, Sweetness Mitra, and good afternoon, Victor. The correct to say a series of, yeah, it is. It's correct to say a series of. You can see my corrections in red on here, yeah. So a series of. Okay, we're almost getting up to 20 minutes, so I'll have to pause and then maybe start again. Well, just start in 5 seconds or whatever. Let's keep going. So according to, okay, for example, a high-rise building has been completely destroyed due to information. It was destroyed due to information? I wouldn't say due to the information. I understand it was destroyed thanks to information, or I don't want to say that thanks to, obtained by Israeli intelligence about the presence of Hamas leadership's offices or other service premises in this building. I don't know if I'd say it was destroyed due to information. Otherwise, it sounds like the information destroyed the building. And of course, the bomb or the missile destroyed the building and not the information. So I'm not so sure due to would sound best here. I mean, for example, a high-rise building has been completely destroyed after information obtained by Israeli intelligence was acted on. Yeah, I mean, I can't think. I'd have to change this quite a bit to get it to be logical. Oh, sorry about that, guys. But do you see why I have a problem with this, everybody? Yeah, do you see why I don't like you to say the building has been completely destroyed due to information? It just sounds odd. And even if you carry on and say information about the presence of Hamas leadership inside, it's not the information that destroyed the building. And so if we're going to be pedantic, and we are in these classes, we ought not to say the building has been completely destroyed thanks to or due to information. It just as a result of the information gap. I like it, Greg. Well done. That's what I like to see. Students working hard. That's a very good answer, Greg. Let's have a look at Greg's answer one more time because I liked it. As a result of the information gathered by, obtained by, as a result of the information, exactly, has been destroyed as a result of the information due to you. As a result of the information, I'm not even sure I like as a result of the information. Of course, I'm quite fussy with saying stuff like this. When you say the building has been completely destroyed, it was after the information was received and they acted on the information. And so utilizing the information, acting on the information, completely destroyed. I don't like utilizing either because I can't see who is utilizing. There's no subject. It's not a high-rise building which was utilizing information. And so we'd have a dangling participle. Do you see why I don't like utilizing, Alexander? We'd have a dangling participle. I'm not keen on a dangling participant, dangling participles. According to the information, building has been completed. Well, it's not the information that's saying that the building is being destroyed. It was information that Hamas leadership was there that made the Israelis think, okay, let's destroy that building. Yeah, and so we've got to change this quite a lot. We're going to stop here because it's almost 20 minutes and I've got to end the stream. I will start in about 15, 20 seconds so you can come right back, guys. Okay, so back in a few seconds.